Hello, my name is Kim Addis, and I'm the president and founder of Frame of Mind Coaching. I want to welcome you today to the Frame of Mind Coaching podcast, where we spend some time with some willing volunteers and we coach them on some of their challenges. Today, my guest is Barry Doucette. Barry, welcome to the call or to
Thank you,
the
Kim.
podcast.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. You run a company and you're out of Ottawa. Tell us a little bit about the company, what you do, the name of the company.
Sure. I'm the CEO of Orangutech. We are a high-tech, both consulting and software provider of third-party software, mainly to the Canadian federal government. We're started in 2003. I took over the company about 8 years ago, owned 100% of the company. Some stock options available to some of the executives, of course. And we have grown in the last year by 100%, last 2 years. And our year start is May 1. We've already had a phenomenal first quarter. So yeah, I'm really excited about the company and the things we do. I live downtown Ottawa, love where we live, moved here in December so that we could walk to work. We're smiling around that because now we walk to our living room and dining rooms to have meetings, but love what we do. I have a great team, very young team. I got a mixed team from some senior guys to young guys. The young ones are the ones I sort of have in some of the leadership positions, which is exciting. And myself, just a few things about myself. Competitive swimmer, still at my age, still have competed into my 50s. Not so much the last few years, but swim, kind of keep myself active. It's one thing I do. Also a guitar player, singer. Really, we have a son still lives at home with me. Other than it's my wife and I living downtown Ottawa and loving what we do. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a few questions.
Sure.
First of all, how old is your son?
My son is 23.
23.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And you said you took over the company 8 years ago.
That's right.
Were you working for the company and then took it over? Or did you say, hey, I'm interested in buying a company. There is a good one. I'll take that one.
I was consulting to the company as
Okay.
a strategic coach. The 4 founders I knew,
Okay.
and realized that they were kind of in financial trouble, and then came on as general manager for a couple months. And then one gentleman offered me his shares. And his statement was only if you own 51% of the company. So I bought 51% of the company, and then eventually bought out the final 2 partners. So yeah, that's how that worked.
Okay. And basically it sounded like at the time things were not going well.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So what made you buy the company? It sounds like it was a bit of a sinking ship.
It was. I think my goal in life has always been to own my own company. And I've been, with bigger companies, startups, bigger companies, smaller companies, did a bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And, since, success and I guess you'd say failure.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, I just felt it was in a sweet spot that wasn't really recognized by the leadership team. I felt that the company really was floundering a little bit, mainly because of leadership,
Mm-hmm.
management. I
Mm-hmm.
always laugh. I was on a train about 6 weeks into the advising, and I had the 3rd-year business student beside me, and I showed her some of the numbers, and she goes, "It's a management issue."
Uh-huh.
And it made me smile because I felt she was accurate on that, and so we had to make some changes, and we did that as we went forward. Yeah.
Okay. So you felt like this was a company that you could grow.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So it's been 8 years and
Hmm.
it's grown. You've
Yeah.
taken it out of the woods, you could say,
Yes,
and into the light,
that's right.
and it's been succeeding. In fact, for the past 2 years, you've had really record-breaking years.
That's right.
Okay, amazing. So share with us, what is the challenge you're facing right now?
I think the challenge, and I just came from holidays, so I've been thinking around this a little bit, is allowing myself. I recognize maybe 5 years from now, 2 years from now, what's my role going to be, particularly maybe 5 years, where either, I'm no longer involved with the management of the company, maybe 2 years where I'm a lot less involved, but
Mm-hmm.
5 years either either the company is sold or I'm just sort of stepping back and letting the team run. I'd like to get there even earlier. So Got as I said, a couple of senior guys on the leadership team. But if I looked at my leadership team of 5 people, 3 of them are early 30s, and 2 of them are one's really. I guess there's only one other guy who's 55. So the early 30 group have been phenomenal, real phenomenal assets to the company. Have one gentleman, my VP of operations, been with me for 8 years. So I bought the company in May. He joined me in September. This year will be 8 years. So he's now my VP of operations. So to my mind, see him moving up into general management role in a couple of years. We and I have talked about that. He's done everything for us. One of those guys, sort of the hub of the company. Want to definitely, we've taken pieces off his plate because he had too many things on his plate. So I've run the sales team. I've now got an acting director. She's been with us 2.5. This September will be 3 years as well. She's acting director. I've decided, and this morning in a conversation with my VP Ops, is probably move her to the director of sales quicker than we had planned.
So what's your challenge?
My challenge? My challenge is really trusting the team to move it forward. It's always been, myself and Lachlan, I guess, or myself, the VP of Ops, myself, sort of running everything. I'm trying now to stand back and let the team run this and not have.
So what makes it hard for you to do? Like, what's the feeling inside that says, I'm not sure I can trust them?
You hit it right from the beginning, and I've had to say this to my VP Ops, the guy who's been there for eight years. I said this a couple of years to him ago, is we're no longer in the rescue mode, right? The rescue mode was the first couple of years where you're rescuing a company. Since then, it's management, grow, and really delegate. So I think that it's just been so focused on sometimes it's the personality of a leader, but the leader being Barry, myself. And now I have to say, and I've been developing my leadership team. Now I have to say, okay, I have to actually give them the responsibilities. We recently came up with a full, literally a full org chart. We've started with things like job descriptions, things we wouldn't have done before.
I'm laughing at you because I still don't understand the challenge. So it sounds like you took a company out from under.
Right.
You rescued it, as you say, and now it's in growth mode. And now you're kind of saying, how do I put the right people in the right places, in the right seats, and position it properly for growth?
Continue to position it for growth, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So hold on. So it sounds like you're actually moving forward. It sounds like you're actually taking those steps,
right?
And making things happen. So what I'm interested in is, where are you struggling? What's the struggle for you?
I think the struggle is, I believe 5 years from now I'll sell. I think 2 years from now I'd like to have the leadership. They're the ones running the company, that I'm one level up, if you like, chairman of the board. I'm the CEO today, where you just, everybody's reporting up to me. That's what I'd like to have happen. And we're not quite there yet.
Okay,
right?
So what is missing?
Good question. I think.
Are you laughing because I'm asking?
No, it's a good question. What's missing? I have to think through that too. I think I continue to mentor the team. I think it's just letting people run their roles, right, and having them report up to me, and not. I'm finding myself being smarter around not always coming up with the answer for everybody, right? And so that's what I'm attempting to do. That's my challenge, is ensuring that they're taking responsibility for their roles and that they're doing the jobs that I'm not. So
is your challenge, I'm just trying to really define the problem. Is your challenge holding back? Is your challenge not jumping in? Is your challenge like watching them take ownership and maybe fumble up sometimes?
I think probably the last one, for sure. Allowing them to take ownership and allowing them to fumble sometimes, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And so what happens for you when you're watching someone attempt something, and in the back of your mind, you're like, there's a better way, right?
Yeah.
What happens for you?
I do find myself trying recently, to be honest, allowing them to fumble a little bit, right? And maybe an example would be last week. I could see that we last week was invoicing week, and I could see one internal resource had not finalized his document. So I waited Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm on holidays, and on
Wow.
Thursday, so sent out an email saying, it looks like so and so, and I'm not sure if I'm informing him. So anyway, the guy goes, thanks for that catch. And so my mind was, okay, that don't we have a full process on that? Shouldn't somebody
Mhm.
who's responsible for that role?
Mhm.
So what I will do is have that conversation this week, and that's my VP Ops to say, let's talk about that whole process. Can you explain it to me, and how do we ensure? Like, I know I shouldn't be looking at it, to be honest, and I just need to know and trust that that's being done by
Mhm.
somebody. That
Mhm.
kind of concept.
So, like, you're in a position where, play with me
Yeah,
with
sure.
this
Please.
analogy for a minute. So,
Sure.
pretend you're a mother, you give birth to a child, and it's
Right.
your child, and like that child is everything, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
now you need to go back to work, and you need to find good care for your child. And what happens is that you want to hand over your child to someone else, but you
Hmm.
want to make sure that before you let go, that someone else has a good grip,
Right.
so that if you let go, it's not just going to fall and hurt itself, right? So,
Hmm.
right? So that's
Absolutely.
exactly where you are. So the question becomes, what do you need to do to ensure that someone else on the other side has a good grip?
Yeah.
And so you're in a unique position because your company's in a healthy state. You have a good team. You have
Hmm.
people who are willing, wanting, and focused, determined, and loyal. It
Yeah.
sounds like, right?
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
have
Yeah.
the best team. And so your opportunity right now is to carve out, you said about 2 years until you step out into maybe a more advisory role. These next 2 years are really about defining your role, which is, I'm in a seat, I'm going to take on the role of a coach. I'm going to
Right.
take on the role
Yeah.
of an advisor. I'm
Right.
not going to take on the role of a doer.
Right.
And I'm not
Exactly.
going to take on the role of a problem solver. I
Right.
can be a person who might identify problems to say, hey, I noticed that this wasn't done. Let's, I'm bringing this to the table. Let's figure out how to improve, right? We don't want to be problem focused.
Yeah.
We want to be solution focused, but you also want to help them figure out the solutions to the problems.
Right.
And lean on them to do that. And
Right.
so for you, it's not about what process do we need to figure out invoicing.
Hmm.
It's what process do we need to help my leaders think as leaders,
Right. I like that. Yeah, for sure.
right?
Yeah.
What process do I need in order to truly hand over the reins so that they are skillful at using the reins
Yeah.
and navigating this? And so what that requires from you is to really think at a much higher level. Because
Hmm.
right now we're looking microscopically at the invoicing problem,
Yeah. Yeah, for
but
sure.
we want to look at a higher level at how your leaders are thinking and addressing some of these problems,
Hmm. Yeah.
and how maybe or maybe not they are noticing some of the issues that are coming up and the opportunities that are coming up.
Hmm.
So your job right now is to really work on helping them hone their thinking, their decision making, their
Hmm.
approach to solving problems, their approach to collaboration,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
your job has changed
Right.
from being the one working in the
In the weeds.
business
Yeah.
to being the one working on the business by really shaping, guiding, leading, and coaching your leaders.
Right. Fully agreed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when you find yourself in the weeds, you need to pull yourself out
Mhm.
and you need to say, oh, here's a perfect opportunity for more coaching, the
Right.
invoice situation.
Right.
So for you, that's like gold. Oh, great. There's one more thing I can use as material to work with.
Hmm.
I'll give you an example. When I coach people, I ask them to journal in an online journal.
Sure.
And when they journal, that helps me see where they struggle.
Right.
And when I find their struggle, I don't say, oh no, they're struggling. I say, awesome, this is material I can use so that I can coach them, because now the struggle is evident,
Right.
right? So that helps me guide them more effectively. Because if the struggle is hidden, I can't help them.
Sure.
So your job is to notice struggle and coach
Yeah.
them through it.
Right. I'm writing down notes. Hope you don't mind.
Please write notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, even in this conversation, as we were talking, my goal was to really find out, where are you struggling?
Yeah. Yeah. To define the issue. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, I'm not. My goal in life isn't to find issues in people's lives,
Mhm.
but we know that people have issues, and we know that they struggle,
Right.
right? So if I'm observing it, if I'm finding it, and in order for me to coach effectively, I need to understand what the actual struggle is.
Hmm. Right.
And so, is it an invoicing struggle? Is
No.
it a time management struggle? Is it a realization of the trickle down effect of this problem? Is it a communication barrier between this person and whoever it is that they need to talk to for the invoice? I, you have to identify the struggle,
Right. Okay.
right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So from now on, the opportunity for you is to find every moment, every coachable moment,
Hmm.
and to
Right.
grab it. Like,
Right.
you're excited because here's an opportunity for me to address an issue that might come up later. And this allows me to feel more and more comfortable 2 years from now.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right? To
Sure.
find them all and
Right.
coach through it.
Right. Love it. That makes good sense to me.
Right? But what
Yeah.
that does for you is it also calms you down when you're witnessing something going wrong.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense to me. I'm working on 4 questions to ask people. What do you think you should do? How did you come to that conclusion? Why did you ask me? Who do you think you should ask in the future? Those kind of concepts,
Well,
right?
I want to let's add a couple of questions, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So what's the issue?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Right.
Explain it. So you want to get the whole story. I don't
Yeah.
know if you remember this from our tech meeting, but you want to learn their perspective.
Yeah. I do remember
And
that.
then what you really want to do is identify the beliefs. Don't
Yeah.
forget this. You want to identify the beliefs that are causing them to behave the way they are, or
Right.
not behave the way they are.
Right.
So maybe someone didn't take action when they should have because they believed they had a different priority.
Right.
Maybe they didn't take action because they believed that this could wait for some reason, that this wasn't urgent.
Right. Okay.
Maybe they didn't take action because they thought someone else was going to take action. So we want to really identify the beliefs
Right.
that are driving action or inaction. And when we find the beliefs, now we can coach them more effectively.
Right.
So the whole question of, why are you asking me, you know, so it kind of leaves them feeling what?
Wow. He wasn't listening or he doesn't care. One or the other, I assume.
And is that kind of what you want
No, of
them to
course
feel?
not. Of course
So
not.
I might suspend that question from my list of questions.
Okay. I got it. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I guess in
Um,
my mind, the reason I would ask that question is to make sure, is it really on my plate? Should it be on my plate? I, the CEO, kind of concept. And if it's on my plate, who do you think's plate it should be on that you're asking the question?
okay. So again, those are about beliefs.
Right.
Okay.
My beliefs.
Their beliefs.
Right.
Their beliefs. So did you believe that this was something that I would take care of?
Right.
That sounds
Okay. Oh,
different
that's a better
from,
question. Yeah. Better
why are
question.
you asking me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Much better. Much better question. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's really exciting because you're growing your business to a place where you're positioning it for yourself, potentially, to sell it.
Yeah.
So, this is the most important time for you to really step into your role as advisor and coach.
Right.
It's super exciting. It's just, it requires a completely different mindset for you,
Mhm.
from being the operator
Problem solver. Right.
to being a coach.
Yeah.
And this is the shift that you are making currently right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of I actually coached swim team when I was a kid, a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, I mean. And also, I think of hockey coaches, you think of their roles, like they might have been hockey players in the past, right? And all of a sudden they are coaches. Different thinking, definitely different thinking.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I hope this was helpful.
It
I
was.
hope
Thank you
I
so
hope
much,
you got
Kim.
some stuff to take away and think
Thank you, Kim.
about.
Yeah.
Happy to talk more after if you want. But I want to say thank you for joining me on today's podcast. Thank you for sharing your challenge and allowing me to coach you. And for those of you who are listening, and if you have a challenge that you want to share on the podcast, please reach out to me. My email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com. And if you have a challenge that you are not comfortable sharing on the podcast, reach out to me anyways. My email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com. Barry Doucette, thank you so much for being on this
So much,
podcast.
Kim. Thank
I
you.
hope we stay in touch and continue talking.
Thank you so much. Take care.